This is Bobby from the Police 911. I'm back. Or this is the first part of the hearing.
Go ahead and have a seat. Yeah, I'll get him up to speed. Hi, Eric. So, we won't be able to resolve your case, but we could resolve the case. Not for acceptable term. It's set for trial tomorrow. We won't be able to resolve it. You're a can-do kind of guy. Okay. Try ahead. Working on investigations, a number of items. These are the items that Mr. Banfield is agreeing to release under the the items that are not. If he wants anything else in the car. Okay. Are any of these destinies yours?
Yeah.
Which one?
Several of them. The ones in each being the one that was found in back off.
If they were in these courtroom chairs, doesn't help much. Correct.
Basically, everything is not in my office. It's just electronic.
Maybe we could show you there, drop this board, they're ready to get access to it, it's all right now.
As you can see, I'm trying to film, and these guys are being loud.
Turn wrong.
Figured you'd be more tolerant too, understanding, biochemics, biometrics, whatever they call it, and how your body's supposed to be not stressed like we do all the time. And
That's an excellent question.
probably not you, but many of us, are now belong to an aging workforce. Kind of balance out the way that well, little kids now, they're weighing their backpacks going into school, weighing 30 pounds. It's just, too much.
Is that the one they're still working on?
Now, how does he rig getting a little tiny camera? You have a big one.
It's more specific stuff.
He's got an unlimited budget, I don't.
Still like my favorite. It's not all that bad. Yeah, I think we're making a lot of money down here where we're at.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go to an evidence fee tomorrow, and then we're going to celebrate. Yeah, it's
Which one? Maybe that was the same you did. Yeah. The one that's not the short is an explanation.
Figure technology might be these media cameras.
Read through it again because the things are inside has big out of that.
Efficiency training, like there's like a combination of things. There's accessibility or adaptability factor. Quality lines. stuff with it. Yeah, and we take things in so many different environments and situations. Like, I know some stations that use those smaller cameras, and then they kind of break them, so they're not built to be. See those cameras are small. Well, they've got these little cameras on the bodies about this big, and they have pretty decent lenses on them. And these guys out there, on a snowboard, filming snowboarders out there carrying their yeah. And now, you know, snowboarding activities like that, you put a wristband on, you launch that rope, and it falls. I just think there was some of this new technology. It's awesome. Yeah, it's just always something new. But yeah, I mean, these things are designed, they could be. Yeah, and they plug in the specific stuff. You know, on the back here, there's like a bunch of different types of plugs on that side over here. It's all going to be wireless, Bluetooth. We'll be able to avoid using ones that open faster. There's these backpacks that are and some of them will use like 5 different cell phone cards. And they use that signal. It's high bandwidth. So take your signal and we decided to call almost those cards, send it to the station, reassemble it. It's just really
That's right. Those photos in the news, you know, some robbery took place. And it says, here's a photo of the guy, you know, breaking into this house or whatever. And you're like, is that a person? I really can't tell who that is. See, I never worked with that.
Good afternoon. Let's call the case, please.
Good afternoon. State of Florida, D03075. Place set for a motion to return of property. Case number 16 CR 49346. Mr. Crowl is present. He is currently in custody, represented by Mr. Schwanze. He is ready to proceed.
All right, thank you, Mr. Schwanze. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Brad Schwanze, SEHMN-SEES 053786. Have a place set for motion for return of property. Ready to proceed, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Crowl, good afternoon to you, sir. Counsel, both in chambers and then out in the courtroom in consultation with Mr. Crowl, it seems as if the issues with respect to the property to be returned has been somewhat narrowed. So, Mr. Schwanze, would you identify for me, please, what are the remaining property items in dispute?
A couple of things, Your Honor. In addition to what Mr. Banfield offered to release, I am asking that the property of Destiny Lemco get returned. That includes the Surface tablet, which is listed as item 3 on my motion, as well as the HP laptop computer that's listed as item 4 on my motion. Those belong to Destiny, they do not belong to my client. There's also evidence that the defense intends to access on the Lenovo Y5070 laptop. At minimum, I'm going to ask Mr. Banfield to give me a BA-174 form so I can make a digital image of that laptop of the hard drive, because that is encrypted. All the other items that were in the truck, and conceding that the state is allowed to present that as evidence at the trial in the form of a jury view. Otherwise, let me just check in with my client. And that's all for now.
All right, so let me just make sure I understand. There's a Surface tablet, and then is that, and that's, the argument there is that that is Mr. Crowl's wife's tablet, is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor. Destiny Lemco.
And is that the same for the HP laptop?
Correct.
All right. And then the Lenovo defense position there is, well, first issue is that is, you're acknowledging that is Mr. Crowl, your computer. Okay. So, Mr. Banfield, the tablet and the computer were seized pursuant to the warrant that was issued in this case, is that correct?
That is correct,
And
Judge.
they were found on the premises.
That the warrant allowed for the seizure of those items. Judge.
And has the state had an opportunity to look into those items, or are they encrypted? Is there some difficulty getting in, or have you just not gotten in yet?
We have just not we've just not processed that yet. We haven't had an opportunity to process that yet. We can try to expedite those particular items. Like I said, we've just been trying to focus our energy into the Lenovo Y5070 laptop, and that's the one we're unable to
Okay.
get because
Well,
of
at this
encryption.
point, what I'm gonna do is, and the trial is coming up. So what I'd like to do is, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form an expert on technical issues, but if you could focus some attention on the Surface tablet and the HP laptop, and by the week's end, determine if there's anything on there that is inconsistent with essentially the two main assertions in this case that's coming from the defense, which is, one, it's not Mr. Crowl's technology, it's his wife's, and there simply is no evidentiary value to the computers and what's on them. So if you can take a look at that, and if that's not the case, then we can hear more about it. But if it is the case, then I would expect by week's end those could be returned to Ms.
Lemco.
Lemco.
L-E-M-C-O. And Your Honor, just to add to that, the Lenovo laptop computer that's listed right below that is also Ms. Lemco's. So if those three items, the Surface tablet, the HP laptop computer, and the Lenovo laptop, can all be examined. The USB drives, I told Mr. Crowl that, while they are hers, she doesn't need a flash drive to go to school. And we can get to that later. But if the state could, make an effort to expedite the return of those items, we'd appreciate that.
So it's those three things.
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize for missing you.
Okay.
Trying to get plugs.
All right. And then, is there a computer that's encrypted that we're not talking about?
That's the first computer, Your Honor,
I see.
listed.
Okay.
There's evidence that has some value to the defense that we would intend to present. Something they're going to have to work on.
All right. So, Mr. Banfield, then I would add to that list that additional computer.
Yeah, Judge, if the defense wants that computer so that they can access evidence that we're entitled to but we can't get into because of his encryption.
Okay, one second, so I'm just talking about Surface tablet, HP laptop computer, Lenovo laptop.
Correct. We'll check and see
So
those.
those are the three.
We get to the extent that we can get into it and rule that out.
Okay, so the additional issue that you were speaking to is the first Lenovo, the Y50-70.
Right.
That's the one that's encrypted.
And I'm happy to share the evidence that we're entitled to have of that computer, but unfortunately we cannot access it. The defense is here saying that they want to access it with the password, and we would gladly image it and give them the image, but we can't get into it this time, and I'm not relinquishing it without us getting into that computer.
So my understanding is that Mr. Banfield can have his forensic folks at the crime lab make a digital image of the hard drive and then release it. They don't need a password to make a digital image, and then they can work on the encryption from there. There's no need to actually physically have the hard drive on the computer, because they can copy it. And if you want to check in with your forensic folks.
I can check in with our forensic folks, but still what they're asking us to do is hand over evidence that we're entitled to so that they can access it and that we cannot have it. And
Well, that may be depending upon what the technical experts are saying. If really what you're looking at, you're not interested in the computer as such. You're interested in what's on the computer, and if you can make an exact copy of the hard drive and having it in the copied form as opposed to the actual original form, does it impair your legitimate effort to access it? That's the issue.
I guess not, and I guess I'd have to do a little bit more research into it, but I see it as an end round for the defense to be able to obtain evidence in our possession when we haven't been able to analyze and process the nature of that evidence, and that's what they're trying to do.
Well, I understand, but the question is Mr. Crowl obliged to assist you in accessing his computer that's been encrypted?
And are we obliged to return to him evidence that potentially be damning, which we don't know the nature of, because we cannot discover it. We don't know what that evidence is.
But you're getting a copy of it. You're getting a copy of it, so there's no
But
problem.
we're not going to, it's like returning a gun without bullets because we can't access the gun. Yeah, it is. I mean, he's asked, we don't know exactly the nature of the evidence.
Well, so we've got a couple of issues that we're going to address in due course. We're going to find out as a technical proposition whether if the hard drive is copied, that puts the state in exactly the same position in terms of its legal rights in this case to collect evidence. I mean, the concern that the state is raising, at least at this point, without further elaboration and case law support, sounds like that if Mr. Crowl doesn't cooperate and provide access to the computers, then the state is saying that Mr. Crowl shouldn't have access to the computers. And I just don't know that that's a legitimate basis to retain it. But, it may be. I think we need to think about that and maybe see what the...
Well, I'm not saying that he doesn't cooperate. I mean, he doesn't have to cooperate. He doesn't have to give us the password. But what I'm saying is we don't know the nature of the evidence that's on that computer. We don't know if there's potential harm that could be on that computer. There may be probable cause of a crime that's contained within that computer. And my position is that without that knowledge of what additional evidence of a crime or what additional potential harm that it could cause to the public, I cannot in good faith advise that the PPP return evidence that they do not know how it can harm the public.
Okay. Well, let's see what the technical experts say would come of making a complete copy of the hard drive. In the meantime, Mr. Bradford, I'm going to have till weeks in to look into those 3 additional pieces of technology that have been identified as being owned by this land. We'll give those back to Mr. Crowl. All right.
And can I ask, Judge, that if it would be helpful too, that if Ms. Lemko has proof of ownership, I mean, that could expedite our process in returning those. If there is some proof that they actually belong to Ms. Lemko and not to Mr. Crowl, that may be helpful.
Well, when you look on them, you're gonna, I think they have looked at them. You're going to see, be quite clear with the order. The files say Destiny Lemko school paperwork. I think that's a pretty strong suggestion it belongs to her. Now the property is joint and there's a couple.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Crowl was there, if you wouldn't mind, I'll just ask him. I mean, I think if there are, you know, if your wife went out and bought them separately with a credit card, she still has receipts, you know, that's sort of what Mr. Bradfield is saying. I'm not indicating that would be the only way to demonstrate that she was the owner or user of the computer, but if those things do exist, on the other hand, it may be that, you know, there are no such receipts, or maybe you bought it, but it's actually hers, she uses it for her schooling, etc. So you can provide that information to Mr. Schmaltzy's. But if there are such receipts that tie it more or exclusively to your wife in terms of the purchaser, that could be helpful. But I think also, Mr. Bradfield, you've got to just take a look at it and see what's on it, and if it looks like it's Lemko's, then let's get it back to her. Okay? She's not charged with anything in this case. All right. And if the parties need to, we're anticipating that there's going to be some issues. I'm here through Thursday and scheduled to be out Friday, and then the judicial conference is next week. But obviously there's some pressing matters here. So if you just give me a little bit of lead time, I'll try and make myself available. All right? Thank you.
Thank you.